The good folk of this remote community known as Back Mountain thought they had rid themselves of their resident evil.
That case was a shocking case because there was bodies found in the man's yard.
But then, when crazed murderer Hugo Selensky has already been locked behind bars for a year, a young woman named Felicia Thomas goes missing.
I never knew that, I wasn't going to see her again, and I missed her so much.
And fear once again returns to Back Mountain, sparking talk among residents that Felicia may have fallen victim to cohorts of Selensky carrying on the maniac's deadly handiwork.
I think that she was killed because she came and told us what was going on.
When it comes to unsolved murders, sleepy towns like this one are notorious for wild rumour and innuendo. But you have never heard anything quite like what you'll hear from the locals here in Luzerne County, northeastern Pennsylvania. It is a dark and complicated web of serial killings, mass graves and even snuff films. And depending on who you ask here, much of it may well be grounded in truth.
We took notes and we wrote everything down. There's pages of it in here, of everything anybody told us.
Felicia's mother, Pauline, with the help of family friend Judy Fisher, have compiled thick case books full of hundreds of tips, leads and newspaper articles about Felicia's disappearance.
And Judy, this is, again, another book which I imagine includes...
That's my last 2.5 years of tips. I wrote every tip down, when they came in, what their name was, what their number was, what they kind of were telling me, and just kept a little log of it.
This is her as a young girl with her brother Jesse.
And Pauline will not stop until she learns what happened to her daughter.
Everybody loved Felicia. She was the heart of the family.
Felicia was the oldest of 7 children and grew up helping her mother care for the younger ones.
This is our whole family. We were just really, really close. And I mean, look at how happy we all were. We never thought something like this would happen to any of us.
And Felicia might still be around had one of her friends, Jennifer Barzalowski, not gone missing 3 years before Hugo Selensky's backyard burial ground was discovered.
Felicia was looking for Jen. She was telling people she was looking for Jen.
Felicia became obsessed with finding Jennifer.
She would not drop it, no. She would not let it go.
And while playing amateur detective, Felicia may have learned too much for her own good.
She says, I think Steve Martin killed her and he buried her in his basement. I said, Felicia, that's so crazy. People don't just kill people and bury them in their yards or in their basements and get away with it.
Stephen Martin was the boyfriend of Jennifer's sister and said to be a friend and neighbour of Hugo Selensky.
Was he the prime suspect in Jennifer's suspected murder?
He was definitely a person of interest in the case. Right from the start, he was the last person to be known to be with her the day she went missing.
Then up to 12 bodies were found buried on Selensky's property.
It was a case that shocked this area.
And authorities thought Jennifer and another missing girl, 18-year-old Cindy Song, might be among them. Even though Selensky would admit he killed Cindy Song, she was not counted among the victims because the bodies were burned so badly that police couldn't even say exactly how many there were.
Some of them were in a burn pit where the bones were burned to almost a powder. And then right behind his house in a well, there was bodies buried in a well.
Forensics experts were only able to identify 2, and Jennifer was not one of them.
So that's frustrating in itself.
Then, the year after Selensky's arrest, Felicia goes missing too.
She tried to tell me, she tried to, bring her girl from justice, and I didn't listen, and now she's gone.
On the night Felicia vanished, police say she'd left work at this convenience store between 11:30 p.m. and midnight.
What do we know about the circumstances of her disappearance?
She went home, and her boyfriend was on the couch sleeping. She woke him up, asked him if he wanted to do anything or, where she wanted a beer. He told her that there's some outside on his ATV, and that's it. He went back to bed, and she was never seen by him again.
Did you guys believe that version to be true?
He was interviewed several times, and he's been cooperative with the investigation. So, you know, it's still an ongoing open investigation, so truly no one is ruled out as a suspect at this time.
Officer Kelly says Felicia went to a party that night.
When she left that party, she left with Steve Martin and another male. And the other male was dropped off, and her and Steve Martin continued on their way, and Felicia Thomas was never to be seen again.
Now, remember, Stephen Martin was also the last person to see Jennifer before she vanished.
Do you believe it's the same person responsible for the murders of both Jennifer and Felicia?
I think that there's a lot of peculiarities. Like, Steve Martin was the last person to be seen with both people. Both people ran with the same circle of friends.
A massive search is launched, but it appears right from the start to be a mission impossible.
What about the challenges of the terrain and the landscape out here and trying to find the remains of a young girl like that? How difficult did that make things?
Yeah, she went missing in June, which is full bloom for our, our trees in this area. Heavy canopy, very dense wooded areas, caverns, ravines, creeks, dams.
This gives you a sense of just how complicated the search has been for Felicia's body. The focus has been on these wooded areas and forests which are punctuated by vast swamplands and muddy creeks.
Hundreds of people came out. They came out on quads, they came out on horseback. Everybody was really trying to help.
And when the official search is called off after 2 months, Felicia's family keeps going out on their own looking for any trace.
I have to search. I know the police aren't going to, and I know I have to find her. So I'm gonna do whatever I have to do and go wherever I have to go.
Then, just by accident, a grim discovery by a pair of teenagers out riding ATVs in a ravine.
While riding ATVs, they got off and were just walking around the wooded area, and one of them observed what he believed to be a skull.
Next, Felicia's family anxiously awaits the results of the forensic tests.
When they made that discovery, did you think that it might be Felicia?
Yes, we thought for sure it was Felicia.
And a shocking story about what really happened to Felicia takes me on a search for answers.
We're just trying to work out...
Oh, please, I don't want.
And nearly gets me killed.
You're lucky because my daughter-in-law had the gun aimed at you.